eastern coast of Australia to the darkest corner of your greatest fears. Prepare yourself for terrifying tales of Yowies, UFOs, paranormal anomalies, and much more. Nothing is impossible, and nothing is off limits. Welcome to Believe the Night Shift with your host, Cade Moyer.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. It is a pleasure to be here with you wherever you may be joining us from. We are broadcasting live to YouTube, so if you're watching live, make sure you comment and let me know where you're listening from. If this is your first time here, my name's Cade Moyer, and I'm your tour guide on tonight's journey. And if you wish to join me, I have an open line ready for you. The number is 0730 403096. You can call in and share your strange and unexplainable stories, or you can kind of match us for what we're talking about tonight. And tonight is a rather interesting episode because we've had some fairly major news in the world of UFOs, in the world of disclosure, in the world of non-human intelligences, which has seemed to show up on a report about 26 times. If you are new to the game, this is going to blow your mind. To the people watching this live, yes, we are only doing audio only tonight because I have been away on a massive video shoot and all my cameras are pooped. They are they're in much need of a service. They are completely run into the ground. So we'll kind of get those sorted for the next one. But yeah, at the moment they're all packed up in boxes, and all the batteries do need charging. So we will get that sorted for the next live show. We just didn't have enough time this time around, unfortunately. So couple of things I really do want to get off the bat rather quickly because they are going to be a little bit time sensitive. So this coming week, and when I say we, that would be myself and Dean Harrison from Australian Yowie Research, will be attending the Cardwell UFO Festival. So we will be there for about 3 days. We're going down on the Friday. I will be presenting a podcast. Actually, I'll be doing a live podcast about disclosure there on the Saturday at their forum, which they call the C Files, so the Cardwell Files, so rather clever. And if you're in the Cardwell region or the F&Q region, make sure you make the trip down there or up there because I will be doing a live podcast from about 3 p.m. on Saturday. So if you don't make it, I will make an effort to try get a recording of that roundtable podcast, but it all kind of depends on what the tech setup is there. I'm fairly in the dark about it, and I guess we'll find out on the Friday, but rest assured I'll do what I can. Another awesome thing is that Dean Harrison, he'll be doing a presentation at 11 a.m. on the Sunday. And this is obviously going to be all about the Yowie. For those who are new to the game, Dean Harrison is the go-to gentleman in Australia for anything Yowie related. He created the Australian Yowie Research kind of program, and that is just an astronomical amount of work, and my hat goes off to Dean and his team for everything that they do, because they have really captured some of the most fascinating Yowie evidence, Bigfoot evidence to date. So if you are into that, make sure you also head down to up to the Cardwell UFO Festival, because you'll be able to catch that excellent presentation that he'll be doing there. And knowing Dean, the way I know Dean, you will not want to miss that presentation, because I can tell you he'll be putting his blood, sweat, and tears into it. It is just the type of guy that he is. But I was also on the phone to Dean today, and we decided that why not do a little bit of a meet and greet on the Friday night. So if you are in that area, we will be catching up essentially for a couple of casual drinks, some laughs, maybe a bit of dinner, So if you are in the Cardwell region, make sure you come by. We'll post on our socials a little bit more about that when it gets closer to the time. But yeah, that would be really cool. So if you are in the Cairns region, Townsville region, make sure, if you are a kind of like a fan of the genre, make the effort to get yourself to Cardwell. It's only a short drive, and you can come and rub shoulders with Mr. Dean Harrison himself, and I'll tag along too. But make sure you also hang around for the presentations, because there's lots of excellent speakers there, along with a couple of other presentations and things like that. So if you are a fan of the genre, this will be right up your alley. But essentially, tonight, I do want to talk about the congressional UFO/UAP hearings that have just happened over in the US over the last week. I'll be sharing a few of my thoughts, and I am really, really interested to hear from you guys, the listeners. So if you want to call in and share your thoughts, I'd be incredibly interested to kind of hear what the general public is kind of making of this. I have a lot of thoughts, and I see there's a lot of mixed reactions to, I guess, maybe probably the expectations of what this is supposed to be. I think a lot of people either have the expectation that they want to see alien bodies and kind of things like that, or they kind of want to believe it's all a scam, all a sham. Like the government is kind of pulling the wool over their eyes. And I'm in maybe both. I've got a foot in both sides of the camp at the moment. But what I do want to kind of put out to the public is just let the general public know what's happened here. So essentially, Ryan Graves, who's the executive director of the Americans for Safe Aerospace, David Grush, who was the former national, basically he was like one of the top people within the, who had like military clearance for secret information within the government, for like secret access programs and stuff like that. He was one of the top people. And he's also come out as a whistleblower. He did a fantastic interview with Ross Coulthart for First Nation First, or First Nation news over in the States. I can't quite remember what the channel is. It is rather new, but the report was simply mind blowing, and I've actually watched the interview about 3 or 4 times, which is rather rare for me. I'm kind of like a one and done type of person, but that interview was incredible, and it's the implications of, if hypothetically, let's just say absolutely hypothetically, that 50% of what he's saying is true, if 1% of what he's saying is true, that really does change the world. So he came forward to do this hearing in Congress, and also the retired Navy commander David Fravor, who was so famously known for the Tic Tac UFO incident. They all went under oath to talk about everything that they know, and I can't seem to express how monumental that is. I know a lot of people seem to want to see alien bodies and see UFO videos or pictures, or heck, they'll probably even want to see some physical evidence. However, this is not the case for what this hearing is. The hearing is essentially to start the conversation around all of this. And what I love about this is that it was taken in such a professional manner, and everyone was given their due time within their limit, and they were all treated with respect. which, if you've been in this UFO field, you know that's as rare as seeing a UFO. The fact that government agencies, that media outlets, are now starting to treat this with the, I guess, the respect and the I don't know, the due diligence that it needed, is kind of a weight, I think, off a lot of people's shoulders. Um, but people are saying, "Where's the proof? Where is the proof?" Um, and that's rather frustrating for me, because we got to look at, we're playing a 1,000-piece puzzle here, and we're just starting to get the corners in place, baby. We're starting to see the bigger picture. And I think that's the best way to explain it, is that, these hearings and these whistleblowers coming forward, these are the corner pieces for the puzzle. You got to get those bits done first, do the edges, and the rest of the picture is going to start falling into place rather quickly. If we have a look at what's really happened within the last year, 2 years with UFOs, it's more has happened in the last 2 years than the 80 years that precede it. It is genuinely, we are in the age of disclosure. But I can completely understand people's point of views when they say, look, I want it now. They're not showing enough. The government's lying. And the government isn't really making the job easy for themselves, because we've got the UFO task force, ATIP, I believe it is. I may be getting it wrong, because I swear the little acronym almost changes yearly. But basically, Dr. Kilpatrick, who is the head of it, has basically come out and like rather aggressively rebutted a lot of what David Grush has said. So I don't know what to make from that. I think that Kilpatrick is kind of saving face, and I am rather excited because Ross Coulthart from the Need to Know podcast has apparently been in communications with Kilpatrick to kind of get his side of the story. And one of the things that I really admire about Ross is that he seems to be he takes no prisoners. Like he calls a spade, and he knows a lot more, obviously, than what he can say. However, Kilpatrick is probably in that same boat. There's obviously a lot of information that he can't disclose, or that he can't even reveal, because if you remember the recent hearing that he was a part of, he basically said, no, there's nothing here to justify anything here. But my gosh, when you've got 3 people going under oath, and I don't know if I could express again like how monumental it is to go under oath to talk about something. It becomes a crime. Like, you will go to jail if it has been found out that you are lying. And you look at these 3 gentlemen who have put their hands up, sworn in, and completely under oath, saying to not only the Congress, but to the world, that everything that they're saying is complete truth, is completely mind-blowing. If 1 ounce of that has been shown that it's not true, that is a crime. That is a crime, and you will get locked up for it. Lying under oath is a major, major crime, especially in Congress. So Guys, I'm really interested. So if you don't want to call up, that's totally fine. But if you do have some thoughts on what's going on, or like your opinions with this, please leave them in the chats, because I will get them up on the screen, and we can talk about I guess your opinions there. Because for me, I think this is the first piece. Well, not the first piece, but we've got a couple of pieces of the puzzle in here, and we've got another Congress hearing about UFOs in September. Who knows what's going to come out of that? We've got more whistleblowers wanting to come forward because they've seen how well, I guess, David Grush has been handled, how he's been treated, how he's been respected, because it really only takes the smallest rolling snowball to make a massive avalanche of information. So I think the floodgates have really opened now, and I don't think there's anything holding holding whistleblowers back now. Grush has come forward and said, he does fear for his life. He fears that his life's in danger, his family's life's in danger. But you do have to sympathize with the guy. But this is the world you're playing in when you come out to say that the government has been hiding UFOs for over 80 years. That's the biggest secret in human history. There's going to be obviously repercussions of it. So my hat absolutely goes off to David Grush for doing that. But my gosh, what a terrible situation to really be in. But the madness of it all is that he got government clearance to come out and talk about this. So it by the Attorney General. So it really does go to show that people want this out there. People do want this out there. So for the people who are saying, where's the evidence? This isn't about that right now. This is about getting it out there, getting people feeling safe to come forward, whistleblowers, letting them know that safe places exist to talk about this stuff, and that the US government is really taking this seriously. The security risks of UAPs is finally being realized. And it's quite obvious it's a worldwide thing, because the US isn't the only one coming out. I would love to hear Australia's involvement in this. The government is so tight-lipped about anything regarding UFOs. Could it be that just the majority of the Australian government is completely unaware of any of their situations revolving UAPs? Possibly. Have you ever dealt with local government? You got to also remember that the Australian government is like, it's a fraction of the size of what would be going on over in the States. To put it into perspective, Australia's entire population would fit within the state of California, which is mind-boggling to kind of think of. So you just got to imagine the admin and resource power that the US government has to kind of process these things and kind of treat them in the serious manner that they need. But yeah, for everyone who's up in arms saying, where's the evidence? Well, there's no evidence to be shown yet, because there's no, I guess, classification about this. Let me rephrase that. It is still under top secret. So anything that gets released without being cleared is a crime. And it's so easy. It is so easy to say, come on, someone else, leak it out, break the law, ruin your life and your family's life so I can see this picture. And I think I think if you're one of those people, like you got to just sit down and have a real good look at yourself and go, you know, if you were in that position, would you do it? Would you give up everything that you've worked your entire life for to spill the biggest secret? And I can guarantee you, 99% of you probably won't do it. You won't. And that's fine because there's a process to this. So it's it's got to be done the right way if we want disclosure to happen. Um, you know, you could almost look at it, and if you take David Grush on his word, a man who has everything to lose and nothing to gain, he basically says non-human intelligences are real, and we don't know where they come from. They could come from the fourth dimension in a physical sense, or maybe they come from somewhere else. So Jeff here, he says, well, I do have a good DSLR, but mostly just make do with the mobile. I do have a good pair of binos. And you know what? This is a really good little statement. And I see this is one of the biggest things that I see online is like people say, where's the clear photos? Like, you know, we're living in a day and age where your phone captures 4K footage and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Go outside any day, any day. And this is anyone listening to this. I want everyone to do one little piece of homework. Go outside and try capture a clear picture of a bird just flying past you. Just a bird. Doesn't have to be, you know, 400 meters, 1,000 meters in the air. Just try capture a bird 20 meters in the air in front of you on your phone. Because I guarantee you, you're probably going to get a pretty crappy picture. It's going to be a bit blurry. It is a lot harder than I think most people think to kind of capture these things because, you know, no one's really walking around out there going, you know what, today's the day I'm going to see a UFO. I'm going to take my digital SLR camera with a super mega zoom lens on it, and I'm going to get that picture of the UFO. It just doesn't happen. I would say 99.9% of UFO images are taken by accident with the UFO in the background of something else that was getting taken. It is so difficult to get a good picture of something moving in the air. And I want you all to go out tomorrow and, you know, on your lunch break, you're going for a walk, you're getting your coffee, whatever you're doing, just try and capture a picture of a bird. That's like 20 meters away, 30 meters away. If you think you're a bit of an expert, go for 50 meters, 100 meters, and just see, have a look and tell me what it's like. And I can kind of guarantee you it's not going to be great. It's it's going to be an interesting time. So look, guys, the phone line is open. 0730403096. If you do have an opinion that you want to share about it, please get cracking, get on the phone. Or if you don't want to call, you can always leave a message in on the Facebook, on the YouTube chat here. So yeah, guys, we are one step closer to disclosure. I can't wait till the next hearings. And I feel like these are going to become a fairly regular thing because we're going to get more people coming forward. It is going to give people a lot of confidence to come forward and share the information that they know, because we've got one person spilling the beans, and that's David Grush, kind of saying, hey, look, these programs exist. He's not claiming to work on any of them, but what happens when one of those people who have worked on these things come forward? What's that going to do? Is that going to change your opinion? I guess my question is, do you think, well, what is going to take for you to believe that these things are real? Because I am completely for people being skeptical. You have to be skeptical. If you believe every little dot or light is a UFO, your brain's going to fall out if you're too open-minded. And then you're not taking it seriously. I would be really, really interested, because I want to know what a skeptic would need for evidence. And of course, it's going to, they'll say, I want to see a body. I want to see a craft. I want to see the craft land on the White House lawn. But people get put in jail for less evidence than that. Heck, the US bloody government went to war on much less than that. The US government went to war over weapons of mass destruction based off second-hand knowledge from individuals. Just let that sink in. The US went to war over second-hand knowledge. That's pretty crazy. And we have people questioning 3 individuals' point of views. Well, not point of views, but statements based off first-hand encounters of UFOs. If that doesn't bloody tell you how upside down this world is, I don't know what does. All right, I'm just gonna quickly go here to the chat here. Tracy Marshall, do you think there will eventually be disclosure about the Sasquatch or Yowie? Probably. Look, I would want it to be, but I think I don't know, with everything going on with UFOs at the moment and aliens, or non-human intelligence. I kind of think adding Yowies and Sasquatch on top of that might be a bit much. Also, I genuinely believe that Yowies and Sasquatch will do more damage to our economy than UFOs will, because national parks, real estate, infrastructure, they are all so heavily driven by, I guess, wilderness areas that if we found out that there's this super advanced, super rare, endangered creature out there, that would change everything. Plus, if you had a property that backed onto a mountain where, Dean and his crew have taken reports of Yowies, are you going to want to live there, knowing that these creatures would then be real and could come and get you? Because you got to remember that Yowies, let's treat them like let's think, if Yowies are as, I guess, smart and capable as what they seem, there's going to be good ones, there's going to be bad ones, there's going to be ones that probably have mental disorders, there's going to be ones that are angry, there's going to be ones that are aggressive. And if you get one that's kind of a combination of all of that, That's not going to make for a very peaceful state of mind if you're living on that bushland. So, are they real? Yeah, of course they are. But will we ever get that put out into the public? Uh, I don't know. I'm on the fence about that. I'd love to know what the chat thinks of that one. Because I always like to bring that different perspective to these types of topics. Because you genuinely got to think of the real world consequences of it. Michael Pratt says, I believe they are letting us know that. I believe they're letting us know what they want us to know. Oh yeah, of course, Michelle, of course. Um, we can't know it all because obviously there would be a huge amount of national security implications to that. But how much do you want to know? Like, is there a sense of ignorance is bliss? Is it a sense of like, no, I want to know it all, regardless of any of the outcomes that come from that? Would knowing that they are real change anything for you? Let me know. CRF 1000 says, I think they know if you just leave the Yowie thing as a myth, there's no problems. It's not like anyone sees them all the time. Just leave them be. Yeah, absolutely. It's just one of those things that it's one of those problems that you could probably just ignore, and it's only an issue for the people who run into them, which is fine. That's why we have AYR out there doing their thing. Michelle says she wants to know it all. I don't blame you. I want to know it all. Robin says she wants to know everything. Jane, I've come in late, so you may have already talked about it, but an obvious point with alien disclosure is they left out abductions completely. Yeah, I did notice that too. I feel like this is probably a stepping stone because I think talking about UFOs and aliens is huge already. If you come out and say, yeah, aliens and UFOs are real, and oh yeah, by the way, no, they totally have been taking people. I think that would be a little bit dangerous, and it could cause a fair bit of hysteria. But yeah, it's abductions will be one of the things that potentially gets brought up by other whistleblowers, and I'll be rather interested in that because David Grush did come out and say there has been treaties in place or agreements. It was something along those lines. So I'm really interested to see what that is, because if you go back, I believe it was the Eisenhower reign over the presidency. He was claiming, or it was claimed that he had made an agreement with aliens of some type about they could take X amount of humans a year. But again, that's just one of those UFO fairy tales potentially. But could it be real? Who knows? We might find out one day. But yeah, I'm pretty interested to kind of see how the conversation around NHIs, non-human intelligences, evolves, especially when the stigma of seeing a UFO and talking about UFOs is gone. That conversation would naturally progress to what about all these famous cases of people being taken? Are they legit? Are they real? Time will tell. Time will tell. Kaz Evie says they're desensitizing us to prepare for what's already coming. Everything is planned years in advance. Project Bluebeam, in effect. Maybe, maybe not. It's I do think there's obviously like a sense of planned disclosure, but I also think that we are in an age of people kind of retaliating back against the government. You know, people are done with hearing the bullshit and hearing the lies. And I think if you want to be on the right side of disclosure, you need to get in front of that before Joe Smith spills all the beans. So that's my answer to that one. Ross Coulthard asked David Grush if deaths have been caused due to UFO cover-up, but he didn't establish if deaths were caused by aliens or the government. I believe that David Grush said something that the US government has done a lot of unpatriotic things, heavily implying that the US government has murdered people over this. That's what I took from that. And I also believe that he also highly indicated that non-human intelligences have murdered humans before. But yeah, great statement. That's really good. Okay, let me go back here to the chat. Hey, legends, the majority of the population probably aren't able to comprehend Sasquatch and Yowies and are sick of cover-ups with ETs and UFOs with the layers of BS over the years. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, Yowies are an incredibly fringe kind of thing. And, you know, it's kind of nuts that people would believe that aliens are real and visiting Earth, potentially from, you know, another planet, another galaxy, from wherever, before they'll believe that there's Yowies living in completely uncharted bushland. But you know what? That's fine. That's fine because everyone can have their own beliefs and things like that. But what I'm loving is that, you know, the general public on the ball with UFOs at the moment, which is just incredible to see. So, yeah, yeah, I agree with pretty much what you've said there, Nick. Robin has said that would frighten people knowing government and aliens have murdered people. I don't know. Again, it's one of these things that I think, and I don't know why, it's probably popular culture in the zeitgeist, but there seems to be this thing that all aliens are here to help us and look after us and make sure we don't blow ourselves up and things like that. I don't think that's the case. Like, my personal opinion is that they would be kind of nonchalant about us. You know, like I don't think they would care if we were alive or not. Um, like as terrible as that may sound. Um, yeah, I just think that's the reality of it. Like, uh, I genuinely think, you know, we're something along like we're like the ants, we're the animals to them. Um, whether we're here or not, I mean, maybe that affects them or not. Rod Rupert sounds like the X Files, doesn't it? Just Rod, I'll be Mola. You can be Scully. Good to hear from you, mate. Hope you're doing well. All right, let's go up here to a couple more questions. All righty. Robin says, why wouldn't they have wiped us out by now? I don't know. You'll have to ask them. You know, this is it's a question of speculation. Again, and I think it has to, everyone has to realize that whenever we're talking about this, it's only speculation. Maybe they do need us. Maybe they don't. It is one of those things that I think I think it gives people like a self sense of worth, which is always good to have, by the way. That we are required by the aliens to do something, to help them for whatever it is. Yeah. Maybe they're scared of us. Maybe they're scared of what we would do. Who knows? A really good thing could be is that maybe there's good aliens and bad aliens, and that could start again, more speculation, a war between multiple alien races. Who knows? And maybe that's what they don't want. I don't want that. You know? All right, let's go. Let's go. Kaz says, I've seen Min lights. Hell yeah. You got to write in and share your story with me. I love Min light encounters. They're so weird and so freaky. They always blow my mind, and they always happen in the most eerie of places. So if you are interested in sharing your story, please write in and share it. Actually, talking about that, this week I am looking for people who want to share their story either by email or voicemail. I'm going to be doing a similar episode. Oh, we got a call. Caller, what's your name and where you from? Oh, mate, how are you? Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. It's I think I can ride on the coattails of this topic for the rest of my life as a podcaster, to be honest. That's it. That's it. Oh,
yeah, UFOs and aliens exist. Um, I think more people probably in the States were interested in the football scores or the baseball scores. You know, it seemed to me like that dramatic an announcement, and the population just carried on. You know, um, unless you were researching in the field, um, life went on. To me, it made it didn't make the headlines like it should have.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
Mm, mm. Which I find interesting, but and the yeah, in Australia, you know, we ride on the Cape tails of the US, and I don't think we will ever find an Australian politician come out and actually join the chatter. You know, I just can't see it happening.
It really blows my mind that this isn't the biggest story in world history and isn't blasted on the news every night and every day, and essentially on the front paper of every newspaper in the world.
Exactly. But it isn't. It's very strange. But you've gone through a lot of the ramifications of actual contact and proof. But I think 90. Well, I'd figure 90% of the listeners would have experienced something in the night sky, and done the due diligence, done the research, ruled out planes, satellites, atmospheric, and the people that have done the due diligence, they know that there's something there, and the ones that haven't or aren't interested, life goes on. That's my take on it,
Yeah, mate, I absolutely agree with you, because the audience, the people who listen to this type of podcast, there's obviously something that's happened in their lives to trigger an interest within the weird and the wonderful. And yeah, I'm spot on with you, mate. I reckon a good 90% of them have had some type of weird encounter that they probably couldn't explain.
Exactly. The since we spoke last, with that object that I spotted to the southwest of Amberley here, lo and behold, a mate and I had another encounter. I always find it good to actually have another witness with you,
Absolutely.
We as we spoke, with this Yowie property down on the border, the New South Wales border, that's where this our last UFO encounter happened, and that I looked up the date. It was the 20th and 21st of November last year. Now, a lot of people might prick their ears up and go, "Oh, 2 dates." Yeah, well, this was over 2 evenings. Absolutely amazing. But as I said, if you look up, you'll see them. And if I don't know. I sometimes I feel blessed to be in that position to actually spot these things. But as I said, always good to have witnesses. And my mate, he'd never sighted anything like this, and you could see his brain ticking over, ruling out all these things that it could be. I haven't done a report for Bill Chalker yet, and Gary Opert. Gary's very interested in this stuff as well, but it's just one of those things I've got to get to. But as I said, if you look up, you just never know what you're going to sight. It might be just a flash in the sky that just catches your eye, which was the case in this last encounter. But absolutely amazing. I might shoot you an email on that one, mate. I'm sure you'll get a kick out of it.
Oh,
but,
mate, absolutely.
Yeah, and mate, good luck at Cardwell. I've got an uncle that's attending. He'll be the guy in the electric wheelchair, and he'll have it was his birthday, and he got one of those "I Want to Believe" T-shirts. So I dare believe he should be driving around with that T-shirt on. So give him a wave, mate.
Will do.
Yeah. And just a quick one. Just got back from Cape York, and unfortunately we couldn't hook up, but spoke to a tribal elder up there, and about Yowie, and made his eyes lit up.
Oh yeah, and, they love it.
Yeah, well, up there, up on the tip, they call them bulla bulla, and mate, again, I might have to shoot you an email on that one as well. But absolutely amazing. The stand 4.5 foot tall, huge feet. Generally in the company of a dingo, and a bird. I don't know if you've ever heard of. And then he related an encounter in his childhood, which actually involved an abduction. So, very, very interesting stuff. But, as I said, his eyes lit up, mate. So, I'll send you an email on that one as well.
Mate,
but,
please do.
Fantastic trip up there. Gotta love that corrugated road. But fantastic to catch up, and great topic tonight.
Oh, mate, thank you.
Yeah, and mate, I'll let you go.
No worries. Thank you for calling in, mate. And I'm glad you enjoyed your trip up here. Unfortunately, I think our time frames were completely all over the place, and I was island hopping while you were driving the roughest roads in Australia.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Hey, just a quick one. Are you still interested in doing an interview with my mate down here?
Of course.
Were you still penciling in September? I think you and Attila were maybe considering coming down here.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. So we've got a couple of like pre-production things for our podcast to get across the line with some distributors. So we got to pitch a couple of ideas to them. And once we kind of get the green light on what they're interested in and what we can kind of push, that's when we'll start to lock those types of things in. But mate, I'm genuinely interested to get your mate on the show, even just as a regular guest, to kind of pick his brain a little bit about what's going on there.
Yeah, well, as I said, he's sort of fairly new to the subject, but after what he's seen, I'm certain he'd love to discuss Yowie on the property, and possibly this last UFO encounter on the property as well. So all good, mate. He's recovering from a knee replacement and doing very well. So I'd say he should be in a position to have a yarn to you guys.
Absolutely.
But it'll be just a case of I'm thinking you want to put the feet on the ground on the property and have a bit of a look. So maybe the interview will take place there.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. We'll see how things pan out, and see what happens there.
Okay, mate. Well, all the listeners and yourself, have a great night.
Yeah,
and we'll catch you around.
Appreciate you calling in.
Mate. Thank you.
Cheers, Rod is an absolute legend. Have all the time in the world for that bloke. He recently visited the F&Q region, and unfortunately, due to my work, I had to kind of shoot away at the same time he was here. But he was driving corrugated roads, and I was flying around in choppers. So that was, I think that was a pretty cool trade-off. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of tonight. Thank you to everyone who's kind of taken part of the show, and thank you for joining me in the chat. It is always a pleasure to hang out with you all here. Just another reminder that if you have joined the show late, I'm going to leave this up for 24 hours. Then it will be a Believe Plus exclusive episode. We will endeavor to definitely have the cameras for our next one, because I much prefer to do these with video, and I've got a beautifully built studio just for that. A couple of quick things to quickly check off before we wrap up tonight. If you are in the F&Q region, I will be at the Cardwell UFO Festival with a very good friend, Dean Harrison, and we will both be doing our own kind of presentations. I'll be doing a live podcast based around disclosure, and Dean will be doing a presentation about the Yowie that you will not want to miss. We'll be doing a meet and greet on the Friday night. So if you want to catch up with Dean and myself, and, you know, potentially a whole bunch of other listeners of the podcast or watchers of their YouTube channel, please do join us. We can all catch up for a couple of drinks and good yarns. Dean is doing his presentation at 11 a.m. on the Sunday. So if you're in the town, that's a big market day. Be sure to head over to the C Files forum because that's where all of this will be going on. But that's pretty much everything. So, look, guys, it has been a real pleasure kind of just airing my thoughts a little bit tonight. I know it might have seemed like a little bit of a different episode, but hopefully you guys got a little bit of insight into the congressional hearings that went on, and potentially changed the mindset a little bit, because I know there's a lot of negativity around this stuff, of not enough information kind of getting out there. But I think we need to take a real honest, mature look at why the information is kind of getting sorted the way that it is, because we want it done legally, obviously, and we want it done the right way, so the most amount of people in the public can get their chance to hear what this is all about in the world of UFOs. But look, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. It's been a real pleasure hanging out with you. If you enjoy the podcast, head over onto any of the podcast apps that you listen to us on, and maybe give us a 5-star rating. If you can leave a comment on your review, that would be fantastic. It really does help the show. If this is your first time on our YouTube channel, please be sure to head on over and subscribe and turn on notifications, so you'll get a little notification anytime we go live or we post a new episode. But the final thing is, if you really do like the show, you can become a Believe Plus member. You get a whole bunch of bonus episodes, video content, things like that. It's $5 a month, and an early access and ad-free episodes. So those are the main points for a lot of people. But look, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. If you're at Cardwell, please make sure you come up and say g'day. I'd love to meet all of you, but make sure you give Dean a hard time while you're there as well. But look, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I will catch you guys on the next live show. I'll catch you later. See ya.